Hey everyone, just going to introduce you to the setup of the ULVERIN UR device that is a combination of microcurrent and radio frequency. Comes like this, beautiful portable unit. We are going to start with just installation of the cord. Comes with a black cord to plug in, goes right in the back. And then what we're going to do is it's hiding a little bit, but we're going to find the other cord right here that we have to press in this little button down here. And then you snap this up and voila, we will find our actual handheld tool as far as the microneedling radio frequency device and the plug-in attachment. So we are going to unroll this. So this is what's attached to the handheld device. We're going to set that down and we're going to take this here and we're going to lift this up, and you're going to notice that there is a little divot right here on the top that's going to correspond to the top part of the plug-in here. And then we're going to just screw the little metal piece here until it's in securely, very tight. And then eventually it's not loose and you can't screw it anymore. Then you're gonna simply close this. And then what's awesome is this is a pivoting screen, so it rotates 180 degrees. And even though it's touch screen and you could use it facing this direction, I really like to swirl it to the other side, because if you look over here, you can then work manually as well as with the touch screen. So at the back of the unit, you're gonna have your on and off switch. So we're gonna go back here, we're gonna just switch that on. Okay, and you hear the lovely tone. This is what our screen looks like. Okay, so we have basically a whole array of modes that we're going to be working with. So the very top where you see it highlighted in blue right now, so anytime it's highlighted in blue is the particular mode that you're working on as far as you're setting up your system. So 0.5 is the minimum needle depth, and you can either just touch here and then you can simply increase the needle depth, 6, 7, 0.8, 0.9, or you can go down here and simply turn it up with the turn button here. And it can go all the way to a 3 mm needle depth. Okay, you'll rarely be going that high, especially initially, and maybe just in certain parts of the face, but just to let you know that that's the maximum needle depth. And again, it's touch screen, so you can simply, reduce it that way. Or you can go down here electronically again and just do it with the manual. Now there are pre-programs in here so that when you're working with the forehead area, it's going to set everything up for what it's recommended. If you then go to the neck area, it's going to suggest a 1 mm needle depth, radio frequency level 3, emission time 100, and interval 1 second, vacuum level soft. So we're going to talk about those in a second, just what those differences mean. You also have the option to work on the cheek, the eye area, and back to the forehead. Okay, so the forehead is going to be the area that happens to require probably the most sensitivity in terms of less amount of the needle depth, a lower level of radio frequency and emission time, just because there's less fat up on the forehead. It's very thin skin, so that's where we start off with a 0.5 needle depth. There is a full-on out chart on the website for you guys to download that gives you suggested ranges for each part and part of the face. So right now we're going to just assume that we're going to use 0.5 on the forehead. We're at the forehead. Now if we want to go to the radio frequency level, we can simply touch that and we can now increase or decrease as we desire. Radio frequency level is going to be the amount of heat, radio frequency heat that's generated below the surface of the skin. One thing to keep in mind is that if a client starts to feel sensitivity, oftentimes it's not necessarily from the needle depth. It could be from the degree of radio frequency, or actually the emission time, which is how long the radio frequency is activated in the skin. Next, we're going to look at emission time. And this is either starts as low as 50 milliseconds or you can go up to 150 milliseconds, 200, etc. So usually you're going to be working probably in the 50 to the 150 range, and it's also going to depend on whether somebody is new to microneedling radiofrequency as well. Then we're going to look at interval. Okay, so with the intervals, again, you have an option. We're going to tap up here, and then that's because it's highlighted in blue, which means the level that we're going to be working on. So I like to work on level 1 or 0, sorry, because I like to manually punch the activation switch when I move along. Some people might want to just like get into a rhythm and work 1, 2, or 3 seconds. So if that works better for you, you're gonna alternate. You can go 1, 2, or 3. So as long as you're working like this on the client, flush to the skin, and your finger is constantly engaged on that button, if you have it set between 1 and 3 seconds, it will automatically engage the vacuum and the radio frequency with the microneedling every 1 to 3 seconds. Again, I prefer to work at my own pace, and I work at 0 seconds, which means I have to just keep clicking, clicking, clicking with each new punch. That's just my preference, but you guys can work up to whatever level you want or what desired setting you want. You can also then raise that from soft, normal, and usually you're going to be in the really light vacuum level. When you're working with a new client, probably no more than the normal level. When you go to higher vacuum levels, you can actually run the risk of bruising. So we want to definitely stay to the normal, soft or normal level in terms of the amount of vacuum. And the benefits of vacuum is that it's going to allow for an even penetration of the needles without you bunching up the skin or having to hold real taut. And then last but not least here is the total shots. So each head is going to have a certain number of shots available. And that means for this particular head, we have 499 shots left. It starts off with close to 1,100 shots. You get quite a bit to cover a full face, neck, and décolleté area. I'd like to show you what the head cartridges look like. These are basically a pre-packaged, pre-sterilized head, and they give you a manufacture date. An expiration date is 3 years from the date of serialization. This is going to be a single use per client. Now you can use it up to 2 or 3 times if you're going to be doing simply like a face area and you want to then do full neck or full décolleté, you'll probably get 1 use, but if you're going to do just the face, you'll probably be able to use it 2 or 3 times. So then you would simply, like I've done, where I've taken a package and wrote in marker, mom, so we know this is my mom's cartridge. So it's going to be sanitary and saved just for her. And you're going to sterilize it in between with some alcohol in between uses. So next I'm going to show you how to actually attach the head, and it's going to gently pop in. You're going to feel a little click, and then when it's on properly, you will see it lit up red. And then you've got a little tube, and this is to connect the vacuum. So you're going to plug it in the bottom here. There's a little spot down there, and then there's a little tip at the top, which is going to seal that vacuum. Sorry, we're going to just re-put it down here. Once you get it in, it stays in. There we go. Okay, and then right away when you've activated it, it just turns on the vacuum. It's going to stay on for 30 seconds unless you're using the device. So it will turn itself off if we do not engage the device for the microneedling portion. Okay, when you're ready to actually use your device, you're going to actually take and we're going to do a whole demonstration for you, but you're basically going to activate a single use shot with pushing the button. And that's when you're doing 0-second intervals, which means you're manually deciding to just go at your own pace. If you want to set it up for 1, 2, or 3 seconds, you're going to continuously hold that button in, and then you're going to wait, whether it's the count of 1 second, 2 second, or 3 second, and then it's going to automatically shift again. But I'm going to walk you through the pattern as we're working on a client, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you what the setup looks like for this device. It takes about 30 minutes to complete a full face, and that does not include numbing though. Numbing time is going to be close to 40 minutes unless you're using saran wrap, and then you're going to be able to cut the numbing time down a bit. We do want to make sure when you're using your numbing cream, this is about a 24% lidocaine. You want to make sure you're stirring it up pretty well in the container. You're applying a thick enough layer on the skin, and then you're putting saran wrap on at top to make a nice occlusive barrier so that it will increase the penetration with the heat, and it will help to assist in the numbing. Your client will still feel some discomfort. Just to let you know, it's not 100% numb, but it will definitely help quite a bit.